Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you still have a little bit of bandwidth for the story that I'd like to share with all of you guys. I don't have any slides, and the idea is because this is not a presentation. This is more an authentic sharing of a story. One thing that Adrian didn't mention is that I'm also an authentic storyteller. So it's mainly something I do through social media on Instagram. I love to share my experiences as a way to inspire people to also do their own growth in life. And so today I thought that it would be really, really nice tribute to Bali, because this is the Bali Forum, to tell the story of how Bali has always helped me to come back to myself and to grow and go from a chapter to another. So this is my way of saying terima kasih and suksama to this beautiful island. So here we go. I've got some notes here. I'm just going to pull them out. So I've been coming to Bali since 2014, and I vividly remember my first time here, just feeling home. And I know that a lot of you can relate to this. This is truly a magical island. And today I want to focus on the story of how Bali helped me recover from a serious burnout I had this year. So every time I come to Bali, I use this time to retreat, come back to myself, to come back to what's essential, reconnect with nature, with the kindness of people, simple life. Every time I've come here, it's taught me things. And this year, I arrived here in April as a COVID refugee, as I like to call myself. And I think as a lot of people who are here now. I was in Berlin when COVID started. Sorry, I was in Bali when COVID started and then went to Berlin, which is kind of my base, and spent winter and lockdown in Berlin. And that was really tough. I was working remotely in an unfulfilling job. And so unsurprisingly, on December 30, I was in bed and I couldn't walk and I had a cough. I thought it was COVID. I went and got tested. It wasn't. So I went to the doctors, and after she ran all the biological tests, she thought to run a psychological test. And turned out I had something called generalized anxiety syndrome or disorder. Illness of our time, anxiety. I couldn't walk for a few days, tingling in my legs, dizziness, couldn't check my phone, had a friend to text my other friends for me. Disaster, but also a beautiful experience, a beautiful opportunity to grow. Since 2018, I've been a digital nomad, and I've created something, a little concept in my mind, which I call geohacking. Geohacking is the idea of using your geographical location to hack your growth, to tend to your needs. So at that moment, I knew that I had to leave Berlin. I went to Morocco for 2 months. And after these 2 months, I knew that I had to go back to Bali. So I arrived here in April, and I started my journey of recovering from burnout and getting to know anxiety. And I am so happy I made my way to here, because Bali is just this beautiful place where it is the right environment to stay in idleness and rest, and also to work and get into action. And that's exactly what I did. So anxiety is crippling. It doesn't allow you to do anything really. I couldn't be social. I couldn't go out. Even the sounds of motorbikes were overwhelming. So I stayed home with a friend in Ubud. And so that started my 5 months journey of literally idleness, doing nothing, staring through the window, looking at the trees, listening to the birds, seeing nature, hearing a little bit of the temple sounds nearby when there was a ceremony, waking up super early because, no curtains and the jungle is really loud, and just sinking back into a more natural rhythm, out of a man-made rhythm of working online, being in front of a computer for 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day, 4 hours a day, and going back into waking up early because the roosters are really loud, and going to sleep early because everything is so dark in here. And so I spent 5 months doing this, and that was the first gift that Bali gave to me, this environment, this space that allowed me to slow down and not beat myself for it. So that's the first thing. Bali is an amazing place for all those high corporates, high achiever people who have had, very fast-paced careers, always on the phone, always on the go. I come here to slow down, and it never, never disappoints me. So after 5 months doing this, I gained more power. I also understood more about anxiety, understood that I had to go into my body. I started going to yoga nidra. I started slowly going to ecstatic dance, just practicing embodiments. One of the biggest learning around anxiety for me was that anxiety, we tend to suppress it or resist it or see it as something negative. I have learned that anxiety is yet another signal from my body, the same as a rush of adrenaline when I'm really excited, for example, a signal telling me that something needs to change or something is happening. And for me, it was the signal that I needed to go back to the body, listen, trust, give it the rest it needed. 5 months of rest. After that, I gained my energy. I started being social again. Heck, I even started actually going back on my computer. I created a business actually from my bed, from the comfort of my bed, a consultancy business. So my inspiration was starting to come back, and it makes sense. In French, we call it le vide fertile. It's this moment where you create silence, nothingness, for everything to just settle, for all the craziness, to settle down, and for new things to arise. Kind of like a phoenix rising from its own ashes. And again, Bali, amazing place to do that. I don't think there was any chance for me to do that in Berlin or at my parents' house. That would have been impossible. After these 5 months spent literally doing nothing, I started, as I said, building my business. I started communicating with people, going out. That's where I met Adrian and the team. I started going to meetings with units, just starting to have again this envy and desire to experiment and explore and be okay with having a 2-hour meeting, whereas before it was just impossible to have a 5-minute conversation. So I started coming to Canggu a lot, going to meetings, being inspired. And so I decided to move to Canggu. So that's another part of Bali that I really love. Again, geohacking, Ubud, great for rest, integration, retreating, going inward. Canggu, great for going outward, meeting people, networking, getting ideas, inspiration, working, all this stuff, dating, everything, life. And so that's what I did. I moved to Canggu 3 months ago already. Started going to meetings, starting meeting people, networking, going to events. Some of my friends are making or creating masterminds and holding masterminds there, and just slowly rekindling my energy, slowly rekindling my interest in work. While I was doing that, I also started taking coaching sessions with a professional coach and started what I call my quests for meaningful work. Because the thing is that we very often get out of college and just rush into any job, just a job to pay the bills. Like, yeah, roughly I do marketing, roughly I do finance, and it'll be good. A job is a job, it's okay that I don't like it. But the truth is you end up having burnout. When I was having the first symptoms of my burnout, something that really, really, really surprised me is anytime I would tell someone, hey, I have a burnout, and it was like a big crisis in my life, some of my friends would even laugh at me and be like, yeah, welcome to the club. I've had 4 of them. I've had 3 of those. I have 5 of those. And that is so incredible to have a life where burnout is so normalized. So again, going back to Canggu, it was the part for me, or the time for me, to get back on the horse very slowly, very mindfully, very diligently, just like a vinyasa class, placing diligently every one of my steps, every one of my movements. And every time I tried something, just going back in and checking in. Was this okay? Was the 3-hour meeting okay? Is this project interesting? Not? Is this villa interesting? Or should I move into a place that is more quiet or less quiet? So really like a journey of getting back to the world, but very slowly. So I started gaining more clarity on my next step. Clarity comes with action. That's what I believe. And so I started with meeting people. I started getting inspiration through other people and projects. as I said, including unit, crypto, very entrepreneurial energy that we have here in Canggu, very empowered people who take their life and destiny in their own hands. Super inspiring. So what was the learning for me? It's been now 8 months that I've been on this journey with, as I call it, journey of knowing, getting to know my anxiety and my quest for meaningful work. Well, my learning is life is not a straight line. It will throw you curveballs. And we might think that the best idea is to rush right through and past it, right? This is what we do when we are in the Western world. But actually, often adversity is a call from our inner selves, asking for our attention, asking us to slow down and to drop responsibilities, if it's possible, to retreat and listen, to go to a place that would allow us to do that. Clarity isn't something that we gain from coaches and books. I mean, it will help us, but ultimately it comes from within. We pray to God looking at the sky, but ultimately God is inside each one of us. And I believe this island is truly what they say, the island of the gods, because it helped me connect with the God within me. It's truly the place that has never failed to give me the perfect space for me to reconnect to myself, come back home to myself, be it while being in Ubud and going to yoga every day and being a hermit and a monk, or being in Canggu and just being inspired by all these very entrepreneurial people we have out there. After 8 months spent here, first in total idleness, as I said, giving time to my nervous system to rejuvenate, and then in movement in here in Canggu, I've gained clarity again, hope, and dreams too. I've been able to even go over the rejection I had developed towards the concept of work itself and the concept of working for money and working for a company. And I'm actually currently looking for a job in the tech industry. And if you had asked me a few months ago, I would have been so obfuscated or so shocked by this statement. I'm now an inspiring project manager and product manager in tech. And I have built a consultancy business where I help founders deeply connect with their target audience through consumer psychology. And I verbalize their brand concept so that it compels their audience. As I said, I even had the inspiration to build this business when I was in Ubud resting. Ultimately, I have shifted my entire mindset towards work from a source of revenue and something that I have to do as a human being to a revenue generation activity that can actually be fun and interesting and align with my core. I believe being in Bali has been instrumental to this shift. This is what this place really does. It allows you to expand, pivot, see clearly, clear up the old constructs, and find yourself without sounding too cheesy, but it's so true. Eat, pray, love style. I've been coming here, as I said, since 2014. And every time I go back to the West, I go back with new insights and understanding, also with inspiration and freshness, new energy. This is why I come back here every year. I winter here and I use this as a way to take stock and find inspiration again. They say that Bali is a magical place. And if you're a pragmatic, rational person, just like me, with, a career in the corporate world and being used to having Excel sheets and making your decisions based on hard facts, you might say that it's too woo-woo, what I've been saying. But here I am, a typical product of the Western culture and education, a professional with years and years in the corporate world, a business savvy person who want to say or want to tell that this is true. All they say about Bali is true. It's truly a place outside of this world, a place where you can remove yourself and truly find yourself again, be it through the people, the nature, the rhythm here, the fact that we wake up so early and we go to sleep so early, phasing ourselves with nature, but also the boules, as we call them, all the entrepreneurs, all the creatives, all the healers, all the corporate dropouts, all these amazing people that you find here in such a concentration that it's very difficult to find in the Western world. I mean, I've been living in Berlin and it is a place full of creatives, but there's just something here. I feel that Bali, Kristen is like, yes, I feel that Bali attracts just a certain kind of people, the visionaries, the crazies, the conspiracy theorists. And even though I choose to never stay here like the entire year, and that is a personal decision of mine. Every time I come here, it is such a fresh air for me, such a fresh breath of air for me compared to the old paradigm, the Western paradigm. So that's it. I wanted to give my big thank you to Bali, and I thought that sharing the story with everyone that is here or who would listen, I'm going to share this talk, especially to my corporate people out there, just to inspire them to make their way here. It is truly a magical place that, yeah, connects you to yourself. You gain clarity to know what to do and really what's happiness, but having the clarity to live a life empowered, a life in your center, where you can make all the right decisions in your life and be fulfilled, be satisfied with it. As a closing, I just want to share a video that I made. Actually, it was 2 months ago. So that was when I was starting to gain my inspiration again, and I was able to sit in front of a computer. A miracle, a miracle. So I'm just going to share my screen. It's a 1-minute video. I think just here.
Oumnia?
Yes.
Is there audio on the video as well?
There is.
All right. So what you want to do is when you go to choose the window or application, on the bottom left, there's a checkbox. There's a checkbox to share audio as well.
Got it. Yes.
You check that, then we'll be able to hear it.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So you might be seeing my, I don't know what's happening here. Just a and might be seeing that I was reading my notes. Do you guys see the video?
Yep.
Awesome. Here we go.
What is the purpose of this life? Why were we put here on this planet, in this body? I like to believe the answer is to connect with myself, with the others, with nature, to feel joy, sorrow, to love, to play. The purpose of this life is to realize that you and I are made of the same stuff, single drops of the same sea, brought here to co-create, collaborate, lift each other higher and higher. A journey of the self to the self.
That was it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. It means a lot when people listen to my sharings. So if you'd like to know more about my story, about what I do, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll just drop my LinkedIn address. And I'm always happy to connect with people and see if there are potential collaborations. And if you have any questions for me, of course, I'm here.
Let me check if there are questions, and if there are no questions, I
have a question.
Okay, go, Nikolai.
Of course, Oumnia, what I would like to know is, how would you describe that feeling you're having here in Bali, or like when you were staying in Ubud, when you realize that something different is happening to your healing process?
Thank you, Christian. Oh, that's a tricky, tricky question, because I need to go back into my body and feel it. So I'm just going to do that. Ease. It's ease. I come from Morocco. And in Morocco, it's very similar to here. It's slow, and we have help, and everything is easy. And I think that also is something that helps me every time I come here. It's this ease that I find here. I can relax. You know, when you get out of the airplane and your shoulders literally relax. And then the second thing, the feeling of connectedness. And I know some people say that we are here placed in a, interesting placement on planet Earth. Maybe not. I'm agnostic. All I know is that I don't know, but I can tell that you feel it. You do feel more connected. Maybe it's because the people celebrate their gods every day. Maybe it's because of nature. But yeah, connectedness definitely too. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Oumnia.
Oumnia, you mentioned that you went through this phase of, you know, being very reclusive and yeah, just wanted to be alone. Did you learn from that experience, you know, how you could avoid falling into that state again, or do you think it's natural and we shouldn't try to avoid it? It's just accept that these things come in waves, and if we do need to retreat and be reclusive, then just accept that and then take that time to reset, recharge, and then come out into the world a bit more, you know, I don't know, recharged, reflective, whatever.
I love this question. Thanks, Adrian. Life is cyclical, and we are cyclical beings. I truly believe that from my own experience. So I do know that there will be moments, again, and I'm only 35, so I know that life has still many surprises for me, and there are still going to be moments where I feel broken and down and I need to retreat. And I'm ready for that. What I would say, though, is that I have done everything in my power to observe, understand, accept, and manage anxiety. I accept the fact that cycles will come, but what I also accepted is that I can work on my anxiety. So now I have tools to manage my anxiety. I have tools to make sure that I maximize my chances to not go into the next burnout. So the next slap on my face from life will not be a burnout. It's going to be something else, but not a burnout. I decided. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, on that note, there were some offers from the audience for you to come and visit them, because they have some very nice healing modalities. I think Peter from Pyramids of Chi has invited you to go and check out their sound healing.
I have been actually to Pyramids of Chi only 2 weeks ago for the first time. I saw Christian there. And it was, I have to say, paradigm shifting. That session put me in my power. I stepped out feeling powerful. It was amazing. It's beautiful. I highly recommend it to anyone.
Great. Any questions? Any other questions for Oumnia?
I see someone saying, oh my God, so much Bali FOMO from this forum. Yes, make your way here. It's amazing.